Welcome back everyone, and we're in the new month of Titan here on A Year of Final Fantasy. Last month we went pretty in depth with Final Fantasy VII and all of its games, which was a pretty down to business type of month, and there were a ton of things to cover, but now, this month, I'm shooting for a little bit more variety as there isn't a ton of extraneous Final Fantasy VIII spin-offs or anything, so we can have a little bit more fun this time talking about just Final Fantasy in general as we've done the past few months. Today I wanted to revisit the commercial topics. I loved that episode and I loved making it, and we're going to look at some more commercials going up until Final Fantasy, I believe, 8. I don't go any further than 8, so we'll do another one later on with Final Fantasy 9 through 15 or whatever. So those were really fun to see, and let's just see how much nonsense that we have this time. I'm really curious to see the differences as this is going to jump between the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom era to the PlayStation era. So these are a few pretty quick ones, starting with Final Fantasy VI or 3 for the Super Nintendo.
夢じゃない。ファイナルファンタジー6、4月2日、スーパーファミコンで発売。スクエア。夢じゃない。スーパーファミコンソフト、ファイナルファンタジー6、スクエア。
And with these, I'm still confused on why the speech and text are intertwined with English. I don't know why they do that. It seems like it'd be kind of confusing, but I don't know. Anyway, these are pretty good, I guess, for Final Fantasy commercial, in my opinion. They're not big, but, you know, I like them.
Okay, kid, show me what you got. Yeah, right. Next! Yes! Next! Ooh, scary. Next! 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 Next!
Final Fantasy VIII. Do you have what it takes? Final Fantasy VIII from Squaresoft.
Next!
So this one I remember seeing on TV as a small child. While I never actually owned Final Fantasy 3 or 6 or whatever you want to call it whenever it first came out, even though I didn't own it, I remember renting it a ton from Hollywood Movies or Blockbuster or wherever else I found it, and I think this just encapsulates the 90s so much. That kind of claymation animation style. I don't know why I remember that so well, but this one is just stuck in my memory and it takes me back to those days. I really enjoy this one, even though it's kind of weird and not really how you would expect a Moogle to talk, but there you go, weird 90s stuff.
Final Fantasy VIII Square 桁違いの凄さだぜ Final Fantasy VIII スーパーファミコンで好評発売中
So these ones were from Final Fantasy V. They're kinda strange, but honestly not too much. I mean, it looks like they could have really been for American audiences, but these were aired in Japan, and alas, Final Fantasy V never really came out in the Americas during the Super Nintendo era anyway, and the only thing that really sticks out to me is that blue demon one at the very end. It probably still haunts Japanese children to this day, and that's some pretty weird imagery. But anyway, let's move on. Alright, so Final Fantasy VII, let's take a peek.
An evil empire is sucking the life force from the planet, destroying all that's in its path. It's up to one soldier of fortune to save the world. If he succeeds, you survive. If he fails, you can always hit the reset button. Final Fantasy VII. Beyond the edge of reality lies a story of ultimate conquest, a story of war and friendship, a story of a love that can never be, and a hatred that always was. And now, the most anticipated epic adventure of the year will never come to a theater near you. Final Fantasy VII. PlayStation. More than 200 animators and programmers. A multi-million-dollar production. Over 2 years in the making. And a cast of thousands. They said it couldn't be done in a major motion picture. They were right. Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, first off, why? Why are they showing all of the end sequences and spoilers? Stop, God, why? Why do they do that? Don't do that ever. I've not seen these commercials before, but they're terrible. God, people today complain about trailers showing off too much. No, it's been happening forever, apparently. These are terrible commercials. I know that they wanted to show off their CG scenes and everything, but no, just no. I don't like it.
Final Fantasy VII 始動
Okay, so this one is actually really cool, and it shows behind the scenes, and obviously I like that kind of stuff, and it's kind of sad that it really only shows it for Japan, even though it's clear why they didn't show it over here, because, you know, people wouldn't care or whatever. And this one's honestly the best of the Final Fantasy VII ones that I've seen. Those first couple were terrible. They were awful. All right, that's fine. Let's move on.
To inscribe into history. To inscribe into the soul. Final Fantasy Tactics.
50年戦争の後、大国エボリースにおいて獅子戦争、フザーリア、ザルテーニア、400種類に及ぶアビリティがゲームに出るぞ。
Final Fantasy Tactics.
So this one was probably recorded with some sort of potato-based video device. The quality is god-awful, but yeah, I don't know. It's Final Fantasy Tactics, which is an amazing game, and we actually won't get to that game until December, whenever we're gonna hit on all the Final Fantasy XII and Ivalice stuff. So I figured I'd include it here since it did come out around Final Fantasy VII times. Let's look at some of the other ones though.
My name is Marche. I am a warrior in a land called Ivalice. Can you please help me destroy the crystals so I can leave?
You may call me Ritz, but you may not use my sword, spells, or magic without asking. They are dangerous. If you call, I'll explain.
Mute is my name. Feel free to call. Otherwise, I may become irritable.
The people of Ivalice are standing by to talk about Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Only on Game Boy Advance. Rated E for everyone.
Oh, man. That first one was bad. Like, really, really bad. Man, I don't... That's so cringeworthy. It's even more cringy than my sign-off, but... Whew, all right, that one was bad. Let's look at another one real fast.
一冊の本から始まる一生忘れない物語。Final Fantasy Tactics A2 風穴のグリモア
And these are from the extended Ivalice universe, looking at Tactics Advance and Tactics A2, which have a lot of controversy around them, but as far as commercials go, I think they're pretty decent. They especially play to their demographic, which is, you know, something you want a commercial to do. And I've not seen these, and I was around that demographic, that teenage demographic, just never saw them, so this was actually a pretty neat thing, if not a little bit cheesy, of course.
Use the crystals to expel the mist that poisoned your world.
battle alone or with friends by connecting up to 4 Game Boy Advance systems. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Only for Nintendo GameCube. Rated D for...
Alright, so this one is obviously an American ad for Crystal Chronicles, which we talked about extensively early in the year. And again with this, I never remember seeing this one on TV, so I don't know how widespread it was or where this stuff was aired or anything, but I mean, it's pretty good, I guess. Well, let's look at the next one.
この夏、新しいファイナルファンタジー。そっちじゃない。あれ？危ない。邪魔します。よし、行くぞ。とりあえず勝ったので一緒に。この子にギャル。この子にギャル。よし、行くぞ。せーの。ファイヤー。新しいタイプのファイナルファンタジー。任天堂ゲームキューブ。ファイナルファンタジークリスタルクロニクル。エンジョイプラスパック。
So this one is for Crystal Chronicles again, and this one's much, much better. It really shows what they were trying to accomplish with the game rather than just having that narration. You know, I think this would have been a much better commercial to air in the States.
Coming this fall, the most anticipated action-adventure of the year. A story of one man's struggle to save mankind from extermination and his quest to win the heart of the woman he loves. An epic so stunning your emotions will stir, your heart will race, and your thumbs will be really, really sore. Final Fantasy VIII coming to a home theater near you.
PlayStation.
Oh, it's the movie voice guy, and he is not around anymore, which kind of sucks, but that is definitely him. That's interesting. Anyway, they really obviously for Final Fantasy VIII want to push the cinematic aspect, and that's to expect since Final Fantasy VIII is freaking beautiful. They're not bad commercials, I guess, but they could have done a lot better, I think. Really showing off what the game is about. You know, you hear like, you're gonna need strength and punch the buttons and stuff like that. It's not really what an RPG is, but they just get the scripts and read them to you, trying to grab that demographic and make it look really cool, PlayStation compared to Nintendo and all of that. They did a good job with that, but they didn't really capture the game itself. And I guess that's where I'm gonna stop right about here. We'll do more of these commercials later. Let me know what you thought about these commercials. I think that the original commercials that I looked at, the very first ones, were a little bit more funny or, you know, just weird, I guess, than these, which clearly, you know, you're coming out of the 80s into the early 90s. Yeah, you should expect some weird stuff, but we got a few little jewels in here, especially that cringy March one for Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced. But so these are always a ton of fun to look at, and let me know what your favorite one of these were, or if you have another favorite commercial that we can get to a little bit later. So as always, until next time, Crystal Warriors, keep on gaming.